Hello YouTube, this is Ekdog here. Welcome to Ekdog's Corner where we go over all things gaming. Today I'm in Minecraft and I'm going to show you what I've been building. This is my epic creation, and as you can already tell, for those of you who are Lord of the Rings fans, this is the city of Minas Tirith from the Lord of the Rings. I'm standing outside the front gate. For those of you who care about the dimensions, I chose to do it in creative because I wanted to use quartz blocks for most of it for the white effect, and I know I was never going to get that many quartz blocks out of survival. So I chose to do it in creative. I created a super flat world. There is one layer of bedrock and one layer of green grass, of dirt. Every other block you see is a block I placed. So let's give you the brief grand tour. Alright, so as you can see, here's the front gate. Now I'm not anywhere near finished. The door's open. For simplicity, I only made them too wide, so it was easy to make. I haven't finished laying the cobblestone on tier 1 on that side. This side's complete. Alright, so let's give you a brief flyover of the city. As you can see, not completely finished, but I have a lot of buildings. Very tall. I tried as best as I could to make it accurate in terms of height. It was difficult because I literally stretched it to the point as far as I could. The main reason it's not taller is because I wanted the White Tower of Ecthelion to look naturally high, like realistically high. So the very tip of that, another block can't be built. Now as I continue to fly in, I will show you the throne room. Here's the throne room. Here's where the king would sit in lieu of the king, and during Lord of the Rings time, here's where Denethor sits, off to the side on the throne. There's much more to show, but I'm just going to show you the basics so far. Alright. I wanted to show you the basics that I am in fact putting in the mountain. It takes a long time to build a mountain, but it's going to be much more grandiose than the average mountains you see. To start with, I'm using stone. I'm eventually going to go through and plot in other types of rock, and this goes all the way up, where you get to the Beacon of Amundine. I have it lit just for visual effect, but this is the Beacon of Amundine and the guardhouse at the Beacon of Amundine. So, and this is the very top of the world again. Not another block can go there, so that's where the peak of my mountain has to be. So let's go through and show you some of the city. This is the king's quarters. Obviously it's vacant because there is no king until Aragorn comes in. That right there is the Stewards Quarters, and that's going to be the guard shack that leads into a long staircase up to the Beacon of Amundine. Beacon of Amundine, as well as the guards of the White Tree. Think of them in terms as they would be as important here as at Arlington National Cemetery would the guards of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. So think of them on those type of terms. Alright, as you can see, my mountain ends there, and this is where foothills are going to begin. I figure the foothills will raise a couple hundred feet into the air, the foothills will be rolling and sweeping, and then the mountains will come in and take over. Alright, so we're going to take you and show you each tier. I'm going to fly to make it faster and more swift. Alright, so there's the outside of the city. There's the first wall. I apologize for the loading. It's just there's so many blocks, and even on a good computer like mine, it's just not wanting to happen. Now the buildings right now are not decorated. They have floors built into them. Well, not all of them. Most of my buildings have floors. They have windows. None of them have stairs, and almost none of them are decorated yet. Every single one of them will be. Alright, so as you come up, here's the entrance from tier 1 to tier 2. You can see I built it almost, this is supposed to be as close to a movie replica as I can get with the limited resources that I have. Obviously, building in Minecraft terms, not always the greatest dimensions, but I think overall I captured the spirit of Minas Tirith. I mean, I have a lot of arches, a lot of buildings, a lot of doorways. All right, and every tier obviously has its tunnel to the other side. There's one of the theaters. This is a tier I still need to do a lot of work on, tier 2. And obviously tier 1 is pretty much non-existent at this point. Now, underground, under the mountain, I'll show you some of that in a bit. I have barracks that at the moment I have enough beds and barracks to house roughly 3,000 troops. So I'm going for about 8,000 troops and a total of 25,000 people within the city. Right, here's the gate entrance from tier 2 to tier 3. As you can see, we're now on tier 3. You know, a lot of these are going to be big apartment buildings. Some of them are going to be houses. Some of them are going to be like duplexes. Like I said, I plan on about 25,000 people being able to live here. So there'll be beds and accommodations for that many. Alright, as you see, we're coming up through here. More arches. I tried to accommodate for wagons and carts. Alright, this is another place that needs to be more refined. But this is where we go from tier 3 to tier 4. YouTube video. Alright, now this is the entrance from tier 3 to tier 4. Alright, this is another big barracks building. Now I turn that into the Minas Tirith main library. Not the palace library, but just the main library for all citizens. Really like this little courtyard here. Alright, we're going through another tunnel. And yeah, so I'm not commentating more. This was a lot of work, as you can see. I'm already several weeks into this. Actually, I'm more like a month into this. Not of straight building, but a month of my time devoted so far to this. Now here we're entering, this is tier 5. We're getting near the top now. But as you can see, lots and lots of buildings, lots and lots of structures. There's going to be plenty of room for me to fulfill my goal. Now, one thing I plan on building, which I'll show you quick, every level is going to have one of these. As you go inside of the mountain, it's going to have like a bunker so that when the city's under siege, the civilians will be able to come down here and be safe. Now, every tier will have one of these for the citizens and soldiers, well, just the people of that tier, to make it to where they don't have to try to get to other tiers. Obviously, the further down they go, the bigger they're going to need to be. Alright, so this is the last. As you can see, I tried to build trebuchets the best I could. Alright, this is the last gate, which leads you from tier 5 to tier 6, and it's the last one where there's an actual gate. Because I'll explain it in a minute. Alright. This is the most secure of the gates. As you can see, you actually enter what's now an inside. And you'd be searched several times before this point because now you're entering the government sector where the king is or the steward, and very few people should be up here. So this one's enclosed because now eventually a gate will be able to be dropped here, and then you're completely surrounded and you can be arrested, shot, killed if need be. Alright, so now we're on tier 6. Now, I'll show you the other side of tier 6 really quick. Not much there, but another barracks just below the Tower of Ecthelion. And now this is the infamous stairway that leads you to tier 7, coming out just before the white tree. Alright, now here's my phallus. Now as you see, once you get up top, it starts to look really cool. You can definitely see the circular walls, the city. I mean, it's starting to look really good. Now for the side of these walls, I chose to use bedrock instead of the same carved stone, due to the fact that once you carve it down, it would look different and you could polish it in various ways. So This is a carved polished wall of bedrock, clearly different from the quartz that I used. Again, I wanted to use quartz because it's white. So I used the three types of quartz blocks that they have. The pillared quartz for the walls. So most of my walls of my buildings and my outer walls are pillared quartz. Most of my floors, except for Tier 7, this is regular quartz block, but most of my floors are made of this chiseled quartz block. And then as much as possible, I use quartz stairs. All my roads are paved with cobblestone, and all my roofs are doing the best I can with the quartz blocks, quartz slabs, and quartz stairs, because they just give that white look that defines what is Minas Tirith. Now I'm going to show you what some of the barracks look like really quick. They're simple, like this one. These are for the tower guards. Like these are for the more elite guards. So you got, a bed, a chest, ladder to get to the second bed, and you can sleep in any one of these, obviously. Like I said, I have enough space for about 3,000 troops at the moment. Alright, now this down here, this is Palace Library. It looks pretty grand and regal, but this is my library that I have down inside below the palace. I had to start improvising past the pictures I could find, so I hope this is a portal room. I just had to come up with creative ways to adapt and overcome. And then above the palace room is my grand hall. Chandeliers were fun. Now there's obviously access to all 10 of the guard towers. I mean, you can go to every level. There's access via ladder to every single level of the guard towers. So it's not just there for show. Now the White Tower of Ecthelion is part private library of the steward, part place where there's the Palantir. I haven't finished it yet because I have to decide how I want to get this done. But yeah, this is my epic creation of Minas Tirith. And I'll show you the underneath really quick. It's just a hollow shell. A lot of facilities. Barracks, dining halls, libraries. There's some pubs. That's what that wooden one is. It's a pub. Stairwells, hallways. But like I said, a lot of barracks. Tunnels. So that's what this is. But yeah, this is my Minas Tirith, and I hope you all enjoy. What I was going for was a almost one-for-one replica of the city. I've seen a lot of them, and they're great. I mean, a lot of other people have made good Minas Tirith renditions. First of all, I wanted to make my own just because who doesn't want to make their own Minecraft creation? And the most epic thing I could think to make was the city of Minas Tirith. Like I said, super flat world. Every single brick you see is one I placed, not carved out. So I hope you enjoy. Please post your comments or your questions. And eventually, once this is finished, it will be available for download. And I'm eventually going to make a secondary rendition of it turned into for a Hunger Games map for Minecraft, for those of you who enjoy Hunger Games. So you could have a Lord of the Rings style Hunger Games map. But this is my epic creation, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed seeing it. I wish it could load further distances, but until then, everybody, this has been Ekdog, and thank you for joining me on Ekdog's Corner, where we go over all things gaming. Have a great day, YouTube.